Hello, it's your boy Dominic Capilupo, and I'm here with the DCAP. Today I'm joined by Trey, Tyler, Tom, and Mikey here to talk and preview the 2018 NFL season. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
what's going on,
I'm
man?
pretty good today.
How you doing, Dom? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing fantastic. So we're basically going to break down each division in the NFL, and we're going to, talk about each division and who we think is going to make it through to the playoffs, and then toward the end we will talk about the playoffs and we'll all make some Super Bowl predictions.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
All right, so I've got here first the NFC East. That's always a wild card.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
We don't remember the last time the team won 2 division titles in a row. And guys, do you think the Eagles have a shot to do it and win back-to-back NFC East titles?
The NFC East always tends to be one of the more competitive divisions in football, but the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and I think that means something. At the end of the day, I think they're just kind of a little bit more talented than everybody else. I think the Eagles are probably going to repeat as division champions.
I would have to agree with that. I would say the Eagles' depth is just far more, they're filled at every position, regardless if Carson Wentz comes back and he's the same or not. They're filled at every other position pretty extensively. And they got even new additions, like Michael Bennett. That's just adding to it. So I feel like you got to have them as a clear favorite.
I actually disagree on that. I have the Eagles coming in third in the division.
Third?
I have
Third?
I have the Cowboys at first, of course. I have to. And I have the Giants coming second because I think Saquon and OBJ are going to go off this year.
I'm sorry.
I just don't think the Eagles have anything except Carson Wentz.
You're going to put
honest with
the
you.
Super Bowl champions at third in the division next year. I just don't know if
I think them having Nick Foles just proves they can win the division.
They have young corners who are getting better. I don't even love the player myself. Jalen Mills is really good. Sidney Jones coming back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
He was a first-round projected corner coming into the draft. Malcolm Jenkins is one of the best safeties in football.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Jordan
how much
Hicks
faith I
coming
have
back.
in Eli Manning at this point.
Jordan
Yeah.
Hicks is a monster linebacker.
What was their corner that got injured? Didn't play the whole year last year. Sidney Jones that they drafted.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. He could be a stud. So we gotta watch out for him.
I mean, I gotta disagree with everyone. I mean, that's kind of my forte, but I got the Giants winning the division. I think them and the Eagles tie in record, but the Giants win the head-to-head. I think the Giants sweep the Eagles this year.
Damn.
And I mean, I don't remember the last time that's happened, but I think this year it's time for something new. I think Eli's going to have a good supporting cast this year. It's kind of a comeback year this time.
Oh, okay.
I feel like he can contend for a Pro Bowl, and if he contends, if Eli can get back to where he was at one point, like back in 2011, they got a good shot at making the playoffs because you got Saquon. A lot of pressure is going to be taken off of Eli this year. He's not going to have to throw it 40 times. Saquon's going to take the load, and I think
drafted that offensive lineman too, Will Hernandez.
and Nate Solder came in, Will Hernandez. Obviously, you got Eric Flowers. He's a real big question mark. But I think they got the receivers, Odell, Sterling Shepard. I mean,
Evan Ingram.
He's
just coming off a great rookie season.
Yeah. So I have them going 10-6 with the Eagles. I have the Eagles getting a wild card. I have them as the second wild card. And what about the Redskins? I mean, no, we haven't said anything about the Redskins.
I'm gonna have to ignore the Redskins this year.
I think they're gonna come in last.
I can see them being competitive in a lot of football games, but I just feel like they have the lowest ceiling of every team mentioned.
I think Alex Smith is a downgrade from Kirk Cousins.
I definitely
think it's a step down.
I think so too.
I think Kirk Cousins was more of a deep. He had more of a deep ball game.
100%.
I feel like Alex Smith is just a very
Can't really
short
push the
passing
ball
game. You can't push. You can't throw it down.
Can't
the
move
field.
it down
They've
the
already
field.
lost maybe their most dynamic player that they've acquired this offseason. Darius Geis is out for the season, so.
True.
Yeah, and they don't have any big names to really get the ball to.
Yeah, they signed Adrian Peterson, but at this point in his career, I love him, but I don't know how much
Who knows what he can produce on a consistent basis? Like last year, he had those two over 100-yard games. He had 159 or 7 yards against.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We can't forget
That was only
the
2
APL.
games. That was only 2 games though.
It was only 2 games.
Like every other game was.
They still have Chris Thompson too, though. Chris Thompson was he was a solid running back.
Yep, he's coming back from injury though.
He is. That is true. He
an
is.
ACL injury.
You think the other running back could be good? Rob Kelly. Supposedly he slimmed down this offseason. He's come back
Rob
with a new
Kelly?
mindset.
I haven't heard anything about Rob Kelly, and
Fat Rob.
Yeah,
Fat
that's his
Rob.
nickname. That was his nickname.
He's never been that consistent.
He's just
but I mean,
a big
if he
body.
steps it
He's
up-
like he's just a power back. That's it.
All right, so I think collectively, majority of us think the Eagles will
Eagles.
repeat.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
So now we move on to the NFC North.
I'll-
What do you
I'll
guys
start-
think
I'll
about
start
that
this
one?
one.
Yeah, you got it.
I'll start this one off. Winning the division, I have the Minnesota Vikings. I say they have one game over the Green Bay Packers, who finished second, and I have Green Bay actually in the wild card against Dallas.
Okay, so you got Dallas as a wild card.
Yes.
Or do you have the Eagles winning the division?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got the Packers at 12-4 taking that division. I got the Vikings at 11-5 as the first wild card. I
Okay.
think that division is going to come down to Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers determines that division.
100%.
Absolutely.
He's got Jimmy Graham now. I think
He
Jimmy
does.
Graham just didn't fit in the Seahawks offense. I just didn't think he fit that style.
I didn't like that.
Like
either.
he was so good with Drew Brees, and I think he could repeat that success with Aaron Rodgers.
100%.
Aaron Rodgers in the red zone now is going to be just like I think lights out. I
And like
think,
just giving more weapons to Aaron Rodgers
Mhm.
is always crucial.
and I think Devontae Adams. I think he could really have
He's
a
a
breakout
great
year.
receiver.
I think.
Randall Cobb is still a good receiver.
Number one wide
Mhm.
receiver in this.
I don't think they need Jordy Nelson. I think this
No,
allows
they're
Cobb and Devontae Adams to really break out.
I think
I think
Devontae
he
Adams
will.
definitely can have a fantastic season.
And their running back situation, they've got 3 pretty good, middle to good.
Middle tier.
Middle tier
I'm not
running
gonna say
They're
they're
poor.
good, but I'm not gonna say they're bad. They're not bad.
Aaron Jones seemed to be the best one out of all of them towards the end of the season.
But we're not going to
I
see him
think
for
Aaron
the
Jones is
first
gonna break out.
few games.
Once
You think he's
comes
gonna
back
break
after
out?
his suspension, I think he's gonna be one of the
So you
How
don't?
long's
Do you
his
think?
suspension?
2 games.
You think
2
Jamal
games.
Williams can prove enough in those 2 games to earn the starting job outright?
Maybe not earn
I
a
don't
starting.
think I think it is definitely Aaron Jones's job for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I think there's just a placeholder whoever has it before.
Williams.
Mhm.
Sorry, go
You're
ahead.
fine. Personally, I still believe the Packers are also going to win the division as
Mhm.
well. I also have the Vikings as a wild card team, though. I think Kirk Cousins going in there isn't that much different in the grand scheme of things than Case Keenum.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Rodgers, there's just nobody really like him in the league. Tom Brady's comparable, but Aaron Rodgers is a very unique football talent. The Packers getting him back, they're just slightly better than the Vikings just because of Aaron Rodgers.
We got to look at the Vikings team. This team last year, that miracle play at the end of the NFC division round against the Saints,
Unbelievable play.
and
Heartbreaker for some.
it was so good. Joe Buck was able to make a good call, and we come out, and then they just get embarrassed in the NFC Championship game.
Absolute, like it's on record that is the worst loss in an NFC Championship game.
Historically,
Historically.
Yeah. So, do you think that will have any effect on that team? Because there's been teams that have suffered losses like that, and it just brings them down the whole next season.
I really think that they're gonna come back and do even better because Kirk Cousins is an obvious upgrade in my mind, and you have what's his name, running back
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook's coming back. Once he's healthy, he's gonna tear it up. You've got Adam Thielen. You've got everybody. I think if everybody stays healthy, they're gonna be a top competitor in the NFC.
And that defense is nothing to play
Stacked.
with.
Yeah, they definitely have one of the best
Stacked
defenses
defense.
in the league.
They just signed George Iloka
Yep.
too. And it's not a big signing, but you know what? He's back with Zim again. He used to play for Zimmer.
Mm-hmm.
He's back with him again. I think it could be a good pickup.
To me, they're an extreme boomer bust team. I think changing a quarterback and your offensive coordinator in the same year is a little iffy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kirk, especially, he's gonna come in. I think it's gonna be a little slow at first. I'm not saying their peak year doesn't have to be this year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say next year they go 13-3, something like that. But this year they go 11-5,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere around there.
I've always just felt playoff football 2 minutes left in the game. I need a drive from that quarterback. I've never felt comfortable if my quarterback was Kirk Cousins in that situation. I don't know if I'd be able to watch. I definitely would have my turn every play.
I would have to agree with that.
I go back to 2016 in Week 17, Redskins-Giants. The Redskins need a touchdown to keep. They beat the Giants. They make the playoffs, and the Giants aren't playing for anything. Their seed was already locked, and Kirk Cousins comes out and throws an interception right to Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie in a 2-minute drill. So I have not. I agree. I have not seen Kirk be clutch. I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, I believe he puts up good numbers, but it's more than that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the specific week it was, but there was actually one moment that stuck out to me. Whenever someone says Kirk Cousins isn't clutch, he had a game against Seattle, in Seattle's home. He was down, I think it was by 5 points, something like that. He's on their 40-yard line, throws a bomb to Josh Doxson for a touchdown. They end up winning that game because Kirk Cousins made a heck of a throw.
I feel like Kirk Cousins has now a better offense surrounding him. The Redskins never really had that much oomph.
They didn't have enough weapons.
Yeah, and
I
the
don't- I don't
Vikings
think.
now have a bunch of young talent on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Great receiving core. Kyle Rudolph, Dalvin Cook coming back.
I think Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray are going to be a real threat
Yeah,
in this league.
definitely.
The weapons on the outside and that running backs that they have is completely different than what he had in Washington.
Completely different.
But I do think the Washington Redskins might have had a slightly better offensive line.
Oh,
than
I
the Vikings
100%
had.
did.
Yeah.
Trent Williams is an all-pro offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the Vikings
They
had
drafted
one of
Brendan
those.
Sheriff.
And the Vikings' offensive line have already suffered a couple injuries
Oh,
throughout
yeah.
the preseason, so the pass rush is going to be filthy this year for a couple teams in that division.
You're
Packers
right.
have Mike Daniels and stuff.
All right, so, I mean, sounds very 50-50 with the Packers and Vikings. But I think we can all agree, I think both teams will make the playoffs.
Yes.
Oh,
Agreed.
yeah, definitely.
A sleeper team that's going to lose a lot of close games this year, the Chicago Bears, I think, are on the rise in the NFL. Not this year, but in a couple of years, they're going to be pretty good.
They're definitely drafting all the right pieces to be
Mm-hmm.
successful.
I love Roquan Smith.
Roquan Smith was a fantastic pick.
Trubisky proved he showed a lot of promise, I would say.
All right, so let's move to the NFC South.
Okay.
I've got the Saints at 14-2. I think
14-2.
they're going to have an amazing year. I think last year, if that play doesn't happen, I thought the Saints could have went to Philly and won.
Absolutely.
Because going into Minnesota was a task. I think Drew Brees could have handled it and went to Philly and beaten the Eagles. And I think I had the Saints winning the Super Bowl last year, and
So did I.
I mean that's just one play on one player. I mean Marcus Williams is.
Yeah, it was extremely lucky. It
Yeah.
took a miracle to beat the Saints. I don't believe a miracle is going to happen to the New Orleans Saints this year. I also have the New Orleans Saints winning the division. Drew Brees is just one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. Alvin Kamara having another season. I think he'll be fine without Mark Ingram being there.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints adding DeMario Davis.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard tough loss to swallow, and that's been carried with all the players throughout the offseason. Marcus Williams has worn it on his sleeve throughout the whole loss. He's come out in this training camp losing his mind, picked up Drew Brees in 3 straight practices in one stretch. I think the Saints are going to be coming furious to start the year.
Some people, some players specifically, if you take a moment like that play, if you use it the right way, it could really raise your potential.
Yeah.
It could really do a lot of things.
We played the Buccaneers at home to start out. Ryan Fitzpatrick is the starting quarterback. Jameis Winston's out. And then we play the Browns, also in the Dome, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Saints have a pretty easy schedule to start out to get things rolling, too. I just think the momentum's going to be building in the right way for them.
I can see it.
Yeah, I see the Falcons just coming up short of a wild card. I think they finished 10-6, and it's just a little bit off. Matt Ryan hasn't been an MVP player since he won the MVP. I think maybe that loss in the Super Bowl may have done something to him last year. Obviously, a loss like that could affect you. And Julio Jones was definitely a big surprise last year. Definitely wasn't what everyone expected.
Yeah.
Him to only have 3 touchdowns and not one till week 10.
He had
That-
one good game.
Yeah, that's That's not elite receiver.
That's not. It's not acceptable.
Yeah.
It was really
in my eyes.
wonky with their first year with Steve Sarkisian as their offensive coordinator. Maybe another year getting used to the system. Those kinks will be worked out, and they'll get to see more of what they were trying to do last year. But it definitely needed to be improved in the offseason. So.
And the Panthers, they really don't do much for me, I don't think. I don't see it from Cam Newton. I don't see it. I mean, I think the only high spot on that offense is Christian McCaffrey and Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen, every year he comes
huge.
out and he carries that offense. I think he helps Cam Newton out a lot.
A healthy Greg Olsen can make Cam Newton look a lot better.
Yeah.
I think with the accusation of North Turner, he's had a fantastic history of dealing with quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great addition for Cam and the Panthers. I think McCaffrey is a star in the making. He put up a fantastic season last year with so much workload on him, and I think that can only improve from here. And then then we look at DJ Moore, their first round draft pick. That's a big step for the Panthers. They have not had a key receiver like that in quite some time. Cam Newton, when he won his MVP in 2015, didn't really have a great supporting offensive cast, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The receivers played well, but it was basically Cam. He was better than the Panthers.
Yeah.
So I think just giving him more additions with better offensive coordinators it can bode well for them. But it could also crash at the same time.
Yeah. Their defense isn't... I think it's downgraded over the past few years.
Their secondary is
it's
I
very
think
it's pretty
vulnerable.
laughable.
Their secondary has gotten worse and
Pretty
worse ever
loud.
since
Yeah.
losing Josh Norman.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't gotten well.
There's just been no improvement. They've only gotten older and worse.
Yeah.
They did sign Dontari Poe, though. I do like that.
Dontari Poe is
I
a
like
really
that
engineered
signing.
defensive tackle in this
With
league.
their front line, their
front
defensive,
seven?
their front
Their front
seven is
seven's
amazing.
Really
Jack
good.
Thompson, Thomas
Jack
Davis
Thompson's
is obviously
really
Yeah,
still there.
Luke Kuechly is
Luke Kuechly
probably
is
the best
Luke Kuechly.
linebacker in football.
Yeah. I have the Saints winning the division at 12-4.
Okay.
I have the Falcons missing the playoffs as well, just by a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the Panthers. I have them having the same record as the Falcons.
Okay.
I definitely think the Panthers have a shot to rival with Atlanta for second place. I think that just comes down to who wins their matchups.
Because those games are intense. That NFC South games are really intense,
Yeah.
especially.
NFC South is another really competitive division.
Arguably
No,
the
you
best
got-
division of football.
I mean, you got those three, but I've got the Buccaneers with the worst record in football this year.
Oh,
I'd have to
I've
agree
got
with
them
that.
at 2-14.
They're
I think we
just-
can all agree with that.
There's just nothing you can really say
They're
about
just-
that team that's good.
They're talented in like there's just very few positions. Levante David is good. Gerald McCoy is good.
Mike Evans is spectacular.
Mike Evans is an amazing.
And then it starts to get a little muddy after that. Deshaun
Yeah.
Jackson, maybe
Doug Martin
still.
decides to be good when he wants, I guess. Whenever he wants.
Panthers really might make the playoffs though this year. I think they might be on the right track. They're such a weird team. They play with such momentum. They either are like
They
feeling
do.
themselves and think they're a top 5 team in the league, or like play like a top 25 team in the league. And
It's
just
definitely
but-
more of an on them thing. If they have to keep up with the energy, like when Cam was all energetic in 2015, he was a scary guy.
It's,
Mhm.
it's
Like he
all
could tear apart a
consistency.
defense.
There's nobody else in the league like Cam Newton really when he feels like it. Like there's no quarterback that you could just call a QB power for, and he just is just like
He
juking
goes
people
through
out.
people.
He's easily the best short down back in the league. I think we could say.
Yeah.
If it's 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, he's gonna get the first down, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet on it. I would for sure bet on it.
All right, so I think we all can collectively say this. We got the Saints
Winning the
division. NFC
Yeah.
South.
Definitely.
All right, let's move on to our final division, the NFC West.
Okay.
I've got the Rams winning that one and being the 2 seed with a 13-3 record. And I've got the 49ers at 9-7, 1 game out of the playoffs. I don't think
Okay.
they will make the playoffs. Seahawks 7-9. I think that's being a little generous because I think that home games could really kind of.
Home games.
I think they'll be in some tight games, and I think the home games will tip them over a few games.
Okay.
And I've got the Cardinals at 6-10.
That's not bad for Josh Rosen.
So, the Rams, that team over this offseason,
Made a lot
we
of
thought they were
strides.
good last year.
Talk
Their
about super
defense now
Just keep
is.
adding.
Marcus Peters. I think Marcus Peters is one of the biggest signings of all of those.
They
Yeah.
they also got a key to lead.
Akeem Talib, yeah.
He's
But
in
still,
his
he's still
later
very
years.
good.
Yeah, he's still very good.
Resign Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks is a great. He's perfect for that team.
Yeah.
They already had
He's
a
a
lot
great
of depth
defender.
at
Yeah.
receiver, and now just adding him makes it even.
It's really crazy what Sean McVay did last season. Coming in, he's one of the youngest head coaches I've ever seen.
I
He
love
took
what
the
he's doing.
Rams,
Yeah.
Just coming
I love it.
in trying to establish themselves in Los Angeles. Came in and was like, what was their record? Like 13-3 or something like that
Yeah.
last year. They were a force last year. Todd Gurley's one of the best running backs in the league.
Some people would say Todd Gurley is the best running
Yeah.
back.
Kind of surprised.
He's
he got
definitely
this thing a lot.
someone people look at fantasy, especially after the last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Last year he was just he could win a game.
Yeah.
I think it was just a complete culture change once Jeff Fisher left.
Yeah.
I think from that moment, like we knew the Rams could be something special.
Oh yeah.
And they got Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator for
Oh,
the
yeah.
Broncos,
Very
when he won the
good.
Super Bowl. That dude, he built that defense.
I think if there was a question mark with that team, it'd definitely be Jared Goff. If there was a question mark, can Jared Goff do it in the big games?
What
Can
do you
he
think
be
his ceiling
consistent?
is?
Can he be consistent?
Consistency
If
is
he
key
plays
with
like
Jared
he
Goff.
did last year, they can definitely they'll be a top
If-
NFC team.
And I know that team was young last year, so
He
I
can just
understood their.
improve from here too.
I
think he can do
understood their.
something
I saw their one and done. Matt Ryan had the experience. The whole Falcons team had the experience. I think that's really what did them in last year in the playoffs.
Mhm.
But I think now that the Rams have playoff experience, I
Oh
think
yeah.
that could get them over the hump this year and be a real dangerous threat.
Absolutely.
I think-
Expectations now.
I think the Rams are going to be fantastic. They're going to make the playoffs for sure. I think they're going to win Division 2 at 13-3. I think the Rams are going to. I think they're really going to push for the Super Bowl this year. They are really true contenders right now. Their team is just so filled out at every single position.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I
On
don't
paper,
really
for
see
sure.
another team taking that division.
On paper, for sure, they're the best team in the league.
Earlier, Mikey,
yeah.
you said Josh Rosen is going to go 6-10. You don't think Sam Bradford's going to be the starting quarterback for the Cardinals?
I think Sam Bradford's going to start for maybe between weeks 1 and 3. I think Josh Rosen will overtake that job, though. Definitely think he will take that.
I would have to agree with that.
I mean, I could see it either way. I think that's like a coin toss. I think
Yeah.
depending on Sam Bradford, I mean, this guy came into the league supposed to be the next best quarterback, and
That's the number one
Heisman.
overall pick.
injuries
Heisman winner.
just tore him to shreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like his game.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's too safe for me
Mhm.
to be my starting quarterback. I can't look at him and say,
I don't think
I
he
need
takes
you to
enough
drive
chances.
down the field.
I don't think he's bad, but he's never shown in his career that he can be durable enough to be your starting quarterback week in, week out
Mhm.
for 17 weeks of a NFL season. He's always hurt.
What do you think about the 49ers?
I was just about to bring them up. I'm excited for them. I think they still have a few kinks to work out with that offensive line. I don't think their secondary is as great as people may say, even with adding Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman's great, don't get me wrong, but he's
getting
getting
there.
he's
He's
getting
up
older.
there. Yeah,
he's
he's getting
getting
up
he's getting
been
older.
getting burned in camp.
There's been a couple
Yeah.
videos. I've seen a couple videos of him getting
It's
burned.
definitely gonna be.
by
Like,
Marquise Goodwin.
I feel like it could definitely be like a Darrell Revis kind of thing. I feel like the older he gets, he's gonna lose his step, and
I think he still has a couple more years of him being a really nice corner in this league.
but
But
can he match up against
top wide receivers,
top
I
wide
don't
receivers?
know.
He was
Yeah.
never a fast corner to begin with. Speed was
Mhm.
never one of his things he really relied on. So
This is
over
true.
the course of time, maybe he's one of the better players who could react to losing speed. But
Like-
Yeah, mechanic wise, he's one of the best I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my lifetime, Richard Sherman is one of the best mechanic wise corners we've ever seen.
Somebody that's definitely that should be watched for this year on the 49ers is Marquise Goodwin.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jimmy Garoppolo has easily found himself his favorite target on the team, and that's Marquise. Even in the preseason, Marquise Goodwin was getting several touches.
Yeah, I saw Jimmy
Several
Garoppolo.
times.
He was looking for him
Do you think
Jimmy
he'll take
Gar-
over the number 1 spot from
over Pierre Garçon.
I think he's going to be used in his own way. I would personally say that he's better than Pierre Garçon. Pierre Garçon's a little older now, and at this
I
stage
think-
in his career, I think he's definitely on the decline.
I think the difference in speed is just gonna be that gap is gonna be so large that they're gonna have to play Marquise Goodwin more.
unfortunately, there's been several injuries that the Niners have taken so far in the preseason.
Solomon Thomas.
Solomon Thomas, he
went down.
Concussion.
He'll be back though.
George Kittle.
George Kittle.
Yeah, Jerick McKinnon got injured too. He was out for the rest of the preseason. The acquisition of Alfred Morris, I think, is a smart one. It's a good calculated move. You never know when injury can strike again for the rest of the season. He's a solid running back.
Good insurance back.
That's just the wild card that we can't really predict. For any team, you can't predict injuries. I mean, one big injury and you're done.
Yeah.
Look at last year. Aaron Rodgers goes down. That Packers team is just. It was almost one of the worst teams in football.
It really.
I mean, they were almost the ones that gave the Cleveland Browns a win.
Yeah.
They got taken in overtime.
Brett Hundley
did it.
But I think if Aaron Rodgers was to go down again, they'd be a little better because they have Deshaun Kaiser and he's been doing some good stuff in preseason.
I think Deshaun Kaiser's really good.
Deshaun Kaiser's a good quarterback.
I'm not gonna say he's like he's gonna be a really good starter, but I think he could be a pretty good.
I think he's a solid backup. I think he's a really
a lot behind Rodgers.
Yeah, I think he can be something in this league for sure, especially learning from Aaron Rodgers. It's a huge difference going from the Browns to the Packers.
All right, so
that's the NFC.
Let's get to the AFC. We'll start out with the AFC East. I think that's been
that
most lopsided division
I've had on
most lopsided divisions.
Obviously,
I mean, I'm pretty sure we all got the Patriots.
But a team that's on the rise though is I think the Jets can be something.
The Jets
could. They're making
smart moves.
Making moves, and that's one of the most intriguing questions right now is who's starting Week 1 for that team.
Darnold or Teddy?
I think collectively the Jets have all agreed basically that they're going to start Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. I would say Teddy Bridgewater is a great quarterback, and I think they should for sure consider trading him if they're going to start Darnold. They can easily get a great asset for Teddy, including I heard something about Dante Fowler maybe.
Yeah,
they're even looking at Khalil Mack.
Yeah,
it'd be crazy if the Jets could pull up.
Khalil Mack traded to the Jets. I think I would consider that a culture change.
Jamal Adams has been.
Khalil Mack is a generational player. If you have to give away picks for that, some of your best players, that's what you're shooting for when you're drafting players or anything like that. You want a Khalil Mack.
It says a lot about the Raiders if that player is even on the trade block.
Yeah,
he shouldn't be. I pay the man. Mm-hmm. He's earned every penny of it.
Yeah. I've actually got the Patriots at 11-5 this year. I think they're not as good as they have been. But we've come into the season and thinking the Patriots weren't that good either. But then they still go 12-4, 13-3, get the 1 seed. So, I mean, I got them in as the 2 seed. Mm-hmm. And I've got the Bills down at 6-10. That also intrigued me because you got to think Josh Allen's going to be starting Week 1.
It's kind of looking like. He's a big question mark for me.
Yeah,
I think.
I haven't seen it from.
I've never going into the draft. I did not see Josh Allen as good as people make him seem. You look at his completion percentage; he's never been over 57% in his life. High school and college.
He wasn't playing in the SEC or the Big Ten. He was completing 56% of his passes.
Yeah, he's not even going against the top college teams.
Nate Peterman is still in the competition for the starting quarterback is
laughable.
A little pathetic.
That's laughable.
Physically, I think that Josh Allen he checks all the marks. There's a reason why they said he has the body like Cam Newton and he's kind of comparable to John Elway, and he throws the ball really hard. But you can't have that. You can't just throw the ball at nothing.
Yeah.
Accuracy is such a stressed attribute in today's NFL. I
think people
don't know if he can make reads that are necessary.
People like to ignore the fact that he's not that accurate, but he can bomb it really far. I feel like that makes quarterbacks more valuable, and I don't really agree with that at all. Just because they can throw it really far doesn't mean they're good.
The Buffalo Bills coaching staffs have a project on their hands. It all depends on how well they develop their piece. If they think they could work out his kinks, then they got a really good prospect.
If they think throwing him in Week 1 as a starter is the best idea, then do it. I mean, clearly that's not the ideal situation with A.J. McCarron getting injured.
This is not the year for the Bills, though.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
LaShawn McCoy's got something left.
I mean,
He'll
he's
still
the
be a
only
decent
he's,
back.
Yeah.
he's the bright side on that team, but I don't
know how much LaShawn McCoy can carry a football team right
Yeah.
I just wish he was on a different team.
Yeah.
He's still
Very
now. I think
talented.
the Bills
Oh,
should
yeah.
just trade him.
And the Dolphins, they're getting
Minka
Ryan Tannehill back, but I see
Drafting
him going
Minka
4 and
Fitzpatrick was a
12.
great move.
I just don't see that much. Obviously, the loss of Jarvis Landry, that's big.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too much out of the Dolphins this year.
I feel like most good teams have an identity in the league, and I just don't know who the Dolphins are.
Yeah.
Like, what's the Miami Dolphins?
I like how Kenyon Drake is looking. I think he could be a solid.
Kenyon Drake could be a decent back. He
Yeah.
showed some bright spots a couple times last season.
He could be really solid for them.
Yeah.
Like he could be the long term.
I was surprised when they traded away Jay. I didn't think they had anybody that could
For
fill that
like
role.
nothing too.
Yeah.
But clearly, they believed in Kenyon Drake, and it's been working out for them so far. You think Ryan Tannehill is a true franchise quarterback? Or do you think...
I definitely wouldn't go out of my way to pick him. I'm not knocking him. He's talented, but like I just don't know if he's like the guy for me.
Yeah.
He hasn't really shown me anything to make me believe that he's the guy, and he can be my franchise starting quarterback.
All right. So I think we collectively, Patriots,
Patriots,
win
of
that
course.
AFC East.
Yeah, it's
Just
time
might
ready for
show a little bit.
One more thing about the Dolphins, really quick. Watch out for Devontae Parker. I think he could be a stud in this league.
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry being gone, there's a void there.
Definitely think he could step into that number 1 role.
Yeah.
Something to watch for on the Jets. Robbie Anderson. I think
Robbie Anderson for sure.
He's a young talent in the league. He might be on the rise.
One of the better receivers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on to the AFC North.
Okay.
So this is interesting in many ways. I've got the Ravens taking it this year
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
with
really?
a 10-6 record,
Interesting.
and I've got the Steelers also going 10-6,
Okay.
and they'll be a wild card.
Ooh. Okay.
I've got the Browns going 6-10. I think 6-10 is just right for that team. I think they're going to be a lot better. I could see them winning early, and but I just think with that, you got to think Tyrod Taylor's going to start to be safe, and then
Oh yeah, I would start Tyrod.
Yeah.
Originally.
Definitely he's
And then- I mean Baker. Obviously, I see some promise in him. Like I wasn't too big on him first, but now I'm seeing him play. Like his preseason has been pretty good, and I've been impressed by him.
I'm pretty high.
I think he's playing extremely well. I think, especially in the beginning of the season, it's definitely going to be Tyrod.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to say that he could challenge Tyrod for a starting job later on in the season,
I don't know.
but I'm not really too sure about that. Depending on the Browns' record, but he has shown a lot of flashes that I expected to see from seeing him play at Oklahoma.
Oh yeah. I have the Steelers taking that division
Okay.
at
As do I.
11-5 for me. I think the Jaguars are going to be the team right behind them at 10-6.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the Browns are actually going to be close to the 4-12 area.
Okay.
4-12, 3-13.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see them doing that much better. At their best case scenario, I could see them 5-11.
Okay.
But the Ravens, it's interesting with them because I don't know if are they going to start Joe Flacco the whole season? Are they going to pull Lamar Jackson in? Like what?
I mean, you got to start Joe Flacco. I mean, to
I
start,
think week one, you have to start Joe Flacco.
you got to see what he's got. I think Joe Flacco.
You gotta let him defend his job.
You got to see what he's got. I mean, he's a Super Bowl champion, so you got to let him go out there, and that defense, it's up there. It's definitely a top. I think it's a top 5 defense.
Top
They
5.
have a pretty solid defense.
I think it's a top 5 defense. I think it's very
Definitely
stout. You don't see the Ravens giving up points. You see the Ravens.
Very tenacious.
I mean, their offense isn't the top, but they'll win in a low-scoring
They've
game.
added some good players this offseason. Michael Crabtree's a for real wide receiver
Yeah.
in this
Oh,
league,
yeah.
so.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I think Joe Flacco is going to have more support this year, and I think people are quick to judge on Joe Flacco. I think just because the Ravens haven't made the playoffs the last 3 years, I don't think it means too much. I think that team is very gritty. I think they could grind out some games. And I mean, the last few years, a couple moments against the Steelers is what really kept them out of the playoffs. Remember that one game on Thanksgiving when
Oh, yeah.
Antonio Brown gets into the end zone with a last
Amazing player.
ditch stretch on the last play of the game.
Amazing player. Yeah, amazing player.
That's the thing with me with the Steelers. That offense is amazing, but I just don't know about that defense. That defense leaves me skeptical.
Yeah, definitely some question marks on their defense.
Obviously, with losing Ryan Shazier to a horrible injury, their defense is it's significantly worse. But I still think they're tough. I still think they can really grind out. I think they can really make stops when they need to. I can't see if all of them stay healthy. I can't see Big Ben, Le'Veon trying to prove something this year, and AB. I don't think they can lit up that division.
I think the Steelers just have too many superstars to not win the division.
Yeah.
They have the best quarterback in the division, they have the best wide receiver in the division, and they have the best running back in the division. Those people can carry you for a lot, really far, as long as none of them get hurt. I'm really high on the Browns, though, this year. I think they can finish 7-9.
7-9.
Tyrod Taylor,
Okay.
both of these things are facts. He went to the Pro Bowl, and he led the team to the playoffs, who hasn't been
did.
there in 16 years.
Yeah.
This is true.
Management in Buffalo did not really believe in Tyrod Taylor. If you have a team that fully embraces him with the talents that the Browns have, Carlos Hyde, Josh Gordon is one of the best wide receivers in the league, even though he can barely ever play. And Jarvis Landry is one of the most reliable wide receivers with his hands in the league. Always
Definitely.
just top
Some of
5
the best hands.
interceptions. The
What do you
Browns
got?
can make a lot of noise this year. They have a good offensive
Cost some
line.
names.
And they have a lot of names on defense. Jamie Collins is there.
Oh,
Miles
yeah.
Garrett,
yeah.
obviously.
Denzel Ward. I think Denzel
Oh,
Ward's
Denzel
a
Ward.
fantastic corner.
He did amazing in Ohio State. I think that was a great pickup.
A
in
lot
the
of people
draft.
thought they were going to take Nick Chubb with that pick. I'm actually really happy they took Denzel Ward. I think it's a perfect place for him. They needed a corner.
Yep.
I think it's great.
We haven't said anything about the Cincinnati Bengals. Nobody seems to.
I just Dalton is not my
I feel like they're
favorite
kind of like
quarterback in the
I
league.
kind of feel like they're down there with the Buccaneers. There's not much good.
I think they're one of the worst teams in football.
I mean, I think AJ Green really should get out of there. I think
they
AJ
need to
Green.
trade him for the sake of his career.
Yeah, I think AJ Green has a lot to prove, and he just can't do it with the Bengals. He
They're
just
just screaming.
and
6
I
and
just
10.
don't understand why
You
they
gave-
keep.
you gave them 6 wins?
I gave them 3.
I'm around 3.
I mean,
Yeah.
they have AJ Green, Vontaze. I
I'm
don't
just-
know, maybe 6 wins. Is
I just
feel
don't.
like this
6
year-
wins is definitely pushing it.
Yeah.
That's like, oh my god, this
Yeah,
is a
I think-
fantastic season.
I take that.
Yeah.
This
I don't-
is going to be a make or break for Joe Mixon, though.
Joe Mixon, I
he
think-
has some
Yeah.
potential with him. If he
Fantasy
can-
wise, Joe Mixon will be a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
see why you bring back
Marvin Lewis. I was about to say
I
that.
don't-
Man is-
Isn't
he
that
has-
since the early 2000s?
He really has
Not a
not
single
proven
playoff.
anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He's
Nothing
had the
to show.
He's had the
What is it?
tenure
They're
of
on like a 27-year drought.
I think it's the longest in the
Yeah,
NFL.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That there's and they
I don't think
they
it's
were
something
they had that stretch of years where they made the playoffs almost every year,
Still couldn't
and
get
they
it in.
that one game against Pittsburgh where they threw it away on the last drive with the 30
Because-
yards and penalties.
Yeah, because Vontaze Burke
Yeah,
decided to knock
decided-
Antonio Brown out.
Yep, and then they decided to get a penalty for arguing and sitting on the. It's just
Oh, I do remember that.
it's just immature. I mean, you can't do that.
They
And-
lost to the Texans third string quarterback in that one playoff game
Yeah.
in Houston, TJ
Mhm.
Yates or something.
yeah,
Like,
that's not much. That's just that team has just been a disappointment, and I nothing changes
feel
this
bad for
year.
Bengal fans.
Yeah.
Truly.
Fans,
Truly.
you real ones.
Yeah.
You real ones.
All right, so most of us picked the Steelers to win this division. I got the Ravens. So with that, we'll move to the AFC South.
Okay.
I've
excited
got
for this one.
I've got the Jags taking home the 1 seed in the AFC with a 12-4 record, and then I've got the Texans going 10-6, taking home a wild card. I think they make the playoffs again. The Titans, I got them 8-8,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think they're gonna repeat making the playoffs. And the Colts, I just 4-12. That's about it. I think that's the
4-12?
best I can give them.
Really?
I just haven't seen it out of Andrew Luck. I just don't think
Oh, they
Andrew
don't-
Luck can get back to Andrew Luck.
Man, it's weird. I have a completely different one.
So do
Right.
I have Houston winning the division.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I have Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun
coming back.
Watson.
I think Deshaun Watson is really good. He could be an MVP
Oh, he
candidate.
definitely could.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is
agree
one
with
of
that.
the best quarterbacks I've seen play, and he's played 4 games.
I agree with
Definitely.
that.
I'm insanely high on him. That defense was scary to begin with. Adding Tyrann Mathieu,
Oh yeah.
that's insane.
Mhm.
Jadeveon Clowney's only gonna get better.
They're
JJ
Yeah.
Watt is finally
Unstoppable.
healthy.
JJ
Hopefully
Watt
he can
back
stay
from hurt,
healthy.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins, in my opinion,
Oh, he
he is arguably the best
Easy.
receiver in the league.
I-
Arguably.
easy
I'm still
top
gonna give it to
three.
AB.
Yeah.
Easy
But
top
he's-
3.
They've got Will Fuller for a deep threat.
Will
Oh,
Fuller is
yeah.
an amazing deep threat.
Very underrated.
Braxton Miller will definitely have an emerge season this year.
Oh,
He's definitely
Let's hope so.
he's definitely going to get a lot of touches this year.
Yeah,
He's finally moving up on the depth chart. I can
Mhm.
definitely see him being a threat.
okay.
it's a good team. I think.
I have
I also
I
have,
have
the
them in the division.
I also
sure.
have the Texans winning the division. A team I think I'm probably more high on than anybody else. I think the Colts are probably going to sneak in and get a wild card this year.
Really?
Andrew Luck to me is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. When he was there, he's led trash teams to the AFC Championship game
Yeah.
before.
I'm
And
right there with you.
They drafted Quentin Nelson. Their running back
Mhm.
Marlon Mack to me is better than
Marlon
Frank
Mack
Gore
is
was.
decent. He showed a
T.Y.
lot of bright spots.
T.Y. Hilton is probably a top 15 wide receiver in the league.
With Andrew Luck healthy, T.Y. Hilton was a monster.
Yeah.
Lee Holker was looking good too until he got hurt. They don't
Yeah.
have the greatest team, but I think Andrew Luck is just one of the more.
I think Andrew Luck makes them a better team.
Yeah.
I don't have them I don't have them snagging a wild card
Mhm.
spot. I do have them finishing close to the 8-8,
Okay.
9-7 range.
A team I have taking a huge step back though is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think their defense
Huge
is
step?
crazy, but there's just no way Blake Bortles is leading a team in the
I-
playoffs again.
I think
I got the Jags going 10-6.
I got them 12-4, and I think the Jags' defense is just enough. I think defense is
It's insane.
so important in this day. Like, I feel like it's always been important, but I feel like you find it harder to find a good defense nowadays.
Yeah.
I feel
Mhm.
like the game has evolved to a more offensive pass game,
Deep
and I feel
threat,
like
kinda.
Leonard Fournette, he's going to be a top running back.
Yeah.
I think Leonard is
Um,
going to be a top back. in the
I
league
think
for
he
sure.
could definitely take some pressure.
Off
Get
Blake Bortles.
off Blake Bortles where he doesn't have to throw that much, and that opens up the play action. And they picked up Austin Safarian Jenkins. I like that
Yeah.
pickup. He did go with the Jets, and
Rebounded from a tumultuous start with the Buccaneers.
yeah, and you got
The receiving
Marquise
core,
Lee.
I think the receiving
think
core is a
he's
little
very-
slept on.
yeah,
D.D. Westbrook,
I think he could be a good receiver.
They took a big hit though, losing Allen Hurns and Allen
Allen
Robinson.
Robinson for sure.
Yeah.
Too.
They're
Safarian
top two
Jenkins
receivers.
was
Oh
definitely
yeah,
a
top two
great
receivers
pickup.
just gone. That's definitely gonna show.
Yeah.
I think people were kind of sleeping on the Jaguars last year too, and I don't think people are going to be so naive going into like
Mhm.
game planning against them. I think people are going to be aware when they play the Jaguars that they have to. I don't know. The Jaguars have been such a laughing stock in the league for a long time. I think it just was shocking to people that they were good last year.
Yeah.
I
I could see
I
them
think-
performing really well this year.
I can't see them taking a step down like you say. Their defense is just too powerful.
it's too good to.
every quarterback in their division got hurt last year. Deshaun Watson went down. Andrew Luck went
They're
down.
definitely gonna lose some key division games, but I also think they're gonna pull out a lot more than people may think.
Yeah, I think they're easy. I think they make the playoffs again easy. Whether it's
Also-
the division or the wild card.
Leonard Fournette, as great of a runner as he is,
And
he's
that,
a great
and that AFC
receiving back too.
I think that AFC is just
he's an
too
amazing
weak.
receiving back.
Mhm.
The AFC as a conference is weak.
Also, I'd
It's definitely
say
one of the others.
don't sleep on the Titans.
I have them at 8-8. I just don't see the overall power.
I think Murray leaving really opens an opportunity for Derrick Henry.
I mean, Derrick Henry was definitely showing some promise there toward the
Yeah.
end. I
And
think,
they picked up Deion Lewis.
especially that playoff game against the Chiefs. I really
Derrick
think
Henry was
he
fantastic.
Derrick Henry
led
was
that.
amazing.
He led that comeback. I
Yeah.
think he did
Absolutely.
really
Gave him
good.
a spark, and that's
Yeah.
what led it.
And as you said, Trey, adding Deion Lewis is just the perfect complementary back to Derrick
Oh
Henry.
my God,
One of the
yeah.
better pass
Oh, yeah.
catching backs in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And Derrick Henry being the absolute physical force he
Mhm.
is,
Yeah.
he could easily get a passing back right next to him.
And you have a quarterback like Marcus Mariota. I think he's a really, really good talent in that league.
Yeah,
I think he's
That
gonna be
division
one of
too.
the
I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in it.
Yeah, Titans have a lot of young talent on their team that could
He's
really
super
show
quick.
soon.
He's accurate, short, and medium. Deep wise, he can get better, but
Of course, you could always
he
get
will.
better.
He will with time.
You got Corey Davis.
Corey
They have a
Davis, I
great
think, is going
defense,
to be
too.
great.
He's very
Titans have
overlooked.
one of
Oh
the
yeah,
defenses,
picking
so-
up Malcolm Butler,
That
Yeah.
safety, I forget his name, but he broke out last year, like 31.
McCourty.
Not
Not
No,
McCourty.
no.
Like something, is his last name Bird?
Not Jerry's
Yes.
Bird.
I know.
Do you know what I'm
Yes,
talking
I know
about?
who you're talking about.
Mhm.
I can't think of his first name, but I know who you're talking about. Jarrell Casey too.
Sure,
Jarrell
yeah,
Casey's
Yeah.
a great
they're
tackle.
loaded, yeah.
Great tackle.
Brian Arakpo, even his later years, are still
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
signed Malcolm Butler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's led in the Super
Adoree
Bowl.
Jackson.
hmm
Yeah.
I think that division could be a three-team race there. Maybe if the Colts, if Andrew Luck comes back, that could be a wide open division. That could be a 14.
It's interesting to see how that's gonna play.
Yeah.
It's low key a 4-team race in that division.
Yeah.
Definitely do.
Yeah.
Definitely on who
So, I mean,
turns
we
out to
don't.
be more
We really
clutch
don't
in
have a
those division games.
definitive. I mean, I guess if we had to pick one collectively, I think we got Houston.
I
Yeah,
would say
I'd
Houston.
say
Yeah.
collectively Houston.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and that leads us to the last division, the AFC West.
This one, it was tough for me to decide.
This was tough.
about
I
this
think
one.
it's. I think it's got the lowest. I think it's the lowest, the worst division of football this year. It was hard for me. I have the Broncos actually winning.
Really.
Yeah, with a 9-7 record.
Wow.
Case
Keenum winning the division.
Yeah, I
That's
think.
interesting.
That rookie running back, what's his name?
Royce Freeman
Royce Freeman.
Yeah.
Very
He's
talented
definitely
player.
from
talented.
Oregon.
And I mean, I think it goes without mention that defense is
It's
crazy.
yeah.
Von Miller
just
alone
gets
is a
better.
freak.
Oh.
They drafted
Bradley
Bradley
Chubb.
Chubb.
They still have Chris Harris Jr.
Yeah,
Losing Akeem Talib, they'll take a
it's
little
a
hit.
little bit,
they
but I don't
still
think
have
it's that much.
I mean,
Bradley Roby.
Bradley Roby.
Is
Bradley.
DeMarcus Ware coaching for them now? I think he might be.
I don't know if he has the title coach. Does he?
I don't know.
I don't know
Not
if he has
sure.
a coaching
I
title.
know
He
he's
may.
still around there helping out.
He
Yeah.
may have one. I'm
Having
not
him around
positive.
is definitely good for their.
Yeah.
Having him, he's great for the environment, great for the atmosphere.
They drafted arguably the best wide receiver prospect in the draft in Cortland
Yeah.
Sutton from
Yeah.
SMU.
Portland
Yeah,
Sutton is
he's
going
probably
to
gonna
be
be
a
And I
good
mean-
talent. Demarius Thomas, I think he's still got something. left in
Yeah,
the tank.
Emmanuel Sanders. He's
But,
still there.
I'm gonna have to say the Chargers take this division.
That-
I agree with that.
they definitely
Okay.
came on the rise. I mean, they almost started. They almost came back and won that division
They
last
really
year
did.
after
A
starting
healthy
0-5.
Keenan Allen is a top. I want to say top 5 receiver, top 6 receiver
Yeah.
in the league.
When he's
Keenan
healthy,
Allen.
when he's
Oh,
healthy,
yeah,
he
he's-
can play like a top 5 receiver.
Remember,
They did lose Jason Verrett.
One
though,
game-
which is tragic.
one game stands out with Keenan Allen, and it was against. I think it was on Thanksgiving Day against the Cowboys. He
Cowboys.
went off. He had
He-
3
catches,
touchdowns.
yeah, like,
He
yeah.
lost
He
his
was
mind.
crazy. Yeah.
That was the statement game. He said,
Mhm.
"I am here."
The Chargers
Yeah.
have been so unlucky for so long.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the season last year, they lost their first 2 games off of like blown field goals at the end of the game.
Mhm.
Oh
So
yeah,
many
that's right.
People keep getting hurt like every year for them.
Yeah.
Mike Williams, they're like
Mike
big
Williams,
wide
I
receiver.
think he could be a pretty decent receiver. I think he's going to be a great weapon
Yeah,
for
he
Philip
like
Rivers.
herniated his disc like
Yeah.
in training
Yeah.
camp last year. Just stuff like that needs to stop happening.
You see him in the preseason. He's made
Mhm.
a pretty spectacular catch.
Melvin Gordon's been the more.
I think Melvin
Yeah.
Gordon. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Monster.
I think Melvin Gordon's really going to take a step this year.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the
Really
girl,
take a step.
Roberto Aguayo fighting for the kickers.
I feel like the Chargers just always have kicking problems.
Yeah, that. I mean, they got rid of Josh Lambo, and then he moved on, and he was arguably a great kicker.
Yeah, he was solid.
Lambo,
Yeah,
I just-
Lambo, he was really good for the
MLS,
Jaguars. Yeah, he
Wow.
definitely
Yeah.
helped out with the Jaguars too.
I have the Chiefs actually snagging a
Really?
wild card spot though.
I have
Okay,
them
As do
winning
I.
the division actually.
The Chiefs.
I have them at 5-11. I think they have a really off year.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a
Harry
surprise.
Mahomes, man, he's a rookie, but you know what? He is.
I
Some of
love
my favorite young
I really
quarterback prospects
love.
in the league.
He
Their
is
offense.
talented. I'm not. I know I made it a point before about saying just because you can throw far, it doesn't mean you're good. He
Yeah.
can still get better with his deep accuracy. I'm saying though, this kid, he just has something about him that I like.
Yeah,
He's just
and the offense.
the way
around
he
him,
approaches a game. Yeah, the weapons:
He's got
Tyreek Hill,
Tyreek
Kareem
Hill,
Hunt,
Sammy
Travis
Watkins
Kelsey,
is there
Sammy
now.
Andy
Watkins.
Reid's one of the better quarterback coaches in the league.
I
don't
think Andy Reid's a great offensive coach too, which really
Yeah.
helps him out.
I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to be a star. I think he's going to be a superstar. He's
I
going to
think-
be one of
yeah.
the
Really.
best quarterbacks.
The sky's the
in
limit for this
for
kid,
sure.
in my
Yeah.
mind. Patrick Mahomes, it's up to him. what
He's
he
gonna have a
does.
lot of
I think he
great
could
He's
do
the
really
make or
good.
break it.
I think
Yeah,
he's going to have a
Chiefs.
lot of like boneheaded interceptions though this year because he's probably thinks
Who
he can
doesn't
make-
throw picks?
Yeah.
He thinks he can make any throw he wants. He has a cannon. He's probably going to just like Jay
I think-
Cutler, just a couple of them.
I'm pretty sure I saw this one thing. And once Peyton Manning gets into the Hall of Fame, because obviously he's going to, I think 7 out of the 10 quarterbacks with the most picks thrown are in the Hall of
I
Fame.
saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interceptions, they happen.
Yeah.
They just happen.
You got to take risks.
Exactly. You got to take the chances to push that ball down the field.
Mm-hmm. I think. I mean, and then there's the Raiders.
Yeah.
I actually got them at 8-8. I think
Same.
Derek Carr
Yeah.
has a
can
comeback
see that.
year. I think he.
Derek Carr will fix it. I think Amari Cooper will address
Mhm.
his whole dropping issue. I think he'll
Yeah.
pick that. I think he'll lower his dropped passes.
Mm-hmm.
They have a
a lot.
nice receiving core.
I think
Yeah.
they could win
Losing
the
Crabtree
division,
sucked, though.
but I also think they could as easily
Really
finish
does.
last. and
Man,
win, like,
that
four
I think
games.
that division, if anything, is
So
wide open. I think that's
Insanely close.
any of the four could take that. I
Mhm.
think, but I don't think anyone takes a wild card out of that division. I
Yeah.
think
Nah,
I
mean,
think that
I disagree
division.
with that.
I think that division fights for the 4 seed. I think they're the lowest
I definitely
division winner.
have the Chiefs.
Yeah.
grabbing
I have
that
the
wild
Chiefs
card
in the
spot.
wild card spot.
I don't see any team in that division standing out. I think it's just going to be a mediocre division. I feel like
I feel like it's
a
turned into
team
the
can go
NFC East.
9-7 and
From
win
past.
the division.
The NFC East from the past. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Always.
So I mean that breaks down all the divisions. We could just go right to Super Bowl predictions.
Okay.
All right. So Trey, who you got in your Super Bowl and who comes out on top?
I got the Saints and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I think the AFC still runs through Tom Brady as long as he decides he's playing football. But the Saints are ready for Tom Brady this year. I think Tom Brady loses another one, and the crinks in his armor continue to show little by little. And the Saints win the Super Bowl 31-24 sorry. Drew Brees gets Super Bowl MVP.
All right. Tyler.
All right, so I have the Rams and the Patriots going to the Super Bowl, and I have the Rams coming out on top. I think the Rams' offense is just unstoppable. They've made some crazy additions this offseason. I think they just got better from last year. I mean, they
Definitely.
performed amazing last year, and Todd Gurley's going to have another career year. They've
Mhm.
got
I don't see
Brandon
them slowing
Cooks.
down.
Yeah, I think they'll come out and win
That's
the
a good
Super
pick.
Bowl.
All right, Tom.
I think in the NFC, it's a toss-up between a few teams. I would say more than likely I can see either the Saints or the Rams getting there.
Mm-hmm.
If the Saints do get there, though, regardless of who they're versing, I could definitely see them winning the Super Bowl. I think if it's Tom Brady and the Patriots, it's Tom Brady regardless, so you can't really count him out right away. But like, the Patriots roster is definitely depleted in over recent years. So
The Saints have more talent than the
yeah,
Patriots do.
the Saints do have more talent.
Their offense is. I think that offense is too explosive for the Patriots defense.
Sean
Yeah.
Payton and Drew Brees is a proven Super Bowl tandem.
Duo.
I mean, we saw that
One of the best
Patriots.
quarterback coach duos I think we've had.
I mean, we saw that Patriots defense look lost
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Super Bowl against the Eagles. So I mean, yeah, that defense is what kind of is iffy on the
The
Patriots.
Patriots lost their longtime defensive coordinator too, Matt Patricia.
Oh, yeah,
Head
went to
coach
the
of
Lions.
now. I think that's pretty huge for them. Everything about the Patriots is consistency and stuff. I'm sure they can
Mhm.
plug somebody else in, but I think he's pretty good.
Mikey.
My Super Bowl prediction. It was for the AFC. Dark horse for a couple people. I think I have the Houston Texans going. NFC. It was hard for me to come down with that one. I think. Me being a Viking fan, I want to say the Vikings. I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna say the Rams snagged that.
Okay.
I think this second year coming of McVay and Goff is going to be something special. Like Tyler said, I don't see Todd Gurley slowing down. The acquisitions they've made on defense, I could see them taking it all this year.
Okay, so we got 2 for the Saints, and we got 2 for the Rams. For me, the NFC was a tough one. I mean, that's
A lot of stacked
a
teams
lot
in
of
the
good
NFC.
teams. I had Green Bay, New Orleans in the NFC Championship. I think New Orleans makes the Super Bowl. And surprise pick in the AFC, I've got Baltimore in the
Oh.
Super Bowl.
Oh, Joe Flacco.
I think that defense, and Joe Flacco can turn it up in the playoffs. He's kind of like
New
Eli
Orleans,
Manning.
Baltimore Super Bowl.
It's a crazy
That's
one, and
interesting.
I've got New Orleans on top. I think that offense is just too good for any defense. I think they could take on any defense and have success. Drew Brees has got the experience.
Drew Brees
I
is
mean,
Drew Brees.
he is crazy. I mean, he's got the weapons. Michael Thomas,
Absolutely.
I think he has become an elite receiver.
Marshall Lattimore is one of the best corners in the league
Mhm.
too, but definitely a top 5 corner.
And Marcus Williams has a lot on his shoulders, and I think he uses that to really pick it up. And I think he just uses that
He's
motivation.
gonna prove himself this year.
And if they win the Super Bowl, that's just that game fades in the past.
Oh,
yeah.
So I think New Orleans takes it. So we got 3 of us with New Orleans and 2 with the Rams. No one picked the Patriots.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
We all have them, a lot of people have them.
I'd love
everywhere,
to
though.
see Tom Brady win the Super Bowl and retire. Finally, I'd like to see him go out with a win, but I don't know. I really like the Rams.
I think there are some offenses that are coming up there, some teams that are just gonna be too overwhelming for the Patriots.
Yeah, Tom Brady can't carry.
Tom Brady is about to have a season with arguably the worst offensive line he's ever had.
Oh yeah.
Their defense. It's just
Edelman
not
suspended
consistent.
for the first couple games as well. Danny Amendola left.
Yup.
His receiver core and O-line are arguably looking the worst he's ever had in his career.
They lost their high draft pick, Isaiah Wynn, for the
Oh
season.
yeah, Isaiah Wynn too.
I think Tom Brady's the GOAT, but I mean,
There's only so
Yeah.
much one guy can do. He is the GOAT, but like he's getting up there in age too.
Yeah.
I don't know how many sacks he can take.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let's
Age,
see how many times he can get hit and get up.
he could be the ageless wonder, but I'm sure age hits everybody at some point.
by the
So
time is undefeated.
yeah. So I think that's all we got.
That wraps it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That
Fun
was the
round.
DCAP.
No.
so.
Thank you for having us down.
Oh yeah, no, it was
Pleasure.
awesome being
Thanks
it
for
was awesome
coming
being
out
on.
here. So I'm Dominic Caplupo, and this is the DCAP, and we're signing off.
Peace.